So let's dive into a really short but powerful parable from an ancient Buddhist text. Now, on the surface, it's a story about fish, but you're about to see how it's actually about us and the subtle traps that we can all fall into. This story is from a text called the Great Fish Sutra. And, even though it was written centuries and centuries ago, it speaks to something we all deal with, that quiet, sneaky pull of temptation.
It really gets you thinking, what if the things that are most dangerous to us don't show up with a big, loud warning? What if they just follow us silently, waiting for us to get comfortable?
Okay, so our story kicks off in what seems like a totally safe place, with a voice of wisdom giving one very, very clear warning. I want you to picture this huge, safe body of water, and it's just teeming with fish. Their leader, the one who knows the score, is called the Great Fish. And one day he pulls all the smaller fish together to give them a single, life-saving rule. And the warning could not be more direct. Do not leave this place, lest you be caught by wicked men. It's simple, right? The danger is out there, and the way to stay safe is to stay right here. But, well, a warning's only good if you actually listen to it. And pretty soon, a little bit of curiosity is about to introduce a brand new and very dangerous element into the mix. So whether it was curiosity or maybe a little bit of rebellion, who knows? But the small fish, they ignore the command. Maybe the safe waters felt boring, or maybe they just had to see for themselves what was out there. Either way, they swim off to explore. And in this new, forbidden area, they come across something weird. It's not some big, obvious threat like a giant net. No, it's way more subtle than that. Just a single baited line dangling there in the water. They get spooked and they swim for their lives, right back to the great fish. But listen to how they describe it. This is key. They say they saw a long line following behind us. They don't even understand what it is. They think it's just some strange object, not a deadly trap. But the great fish, he doesn't offer a rescue plan. He knows it's already too late, because this isn't some new danger. It's the exact same trap that has caught generations of their ancestors. And this is probably the most chilling moment in the entire story. He looks at them and says, "You are not my children. You are already caught." The moment they swam away, the moment they got curious, their fate was sealed. They just didn't know it yet. And sure enough, just as the great fish knew would happen, the fisherman reels them in. That one moment of curiosity ends in disaster. And that's the end of the fish story. But the real lesson, that's just getting started. See, the Buddha then explains that this whole fable, it was never really about fish at all. It was a metaphor for a very human problem. And this is where it all clicks together. The safe waters, that's like the monastery, a place of practice and safety. The dangerous place, that's the village, with all its worldly distractions. And that fisherman's line? Yeah, that's the big one. It's lust, it's desire. It's that subtle hook that follows you until you bite. So the Buddha tells this story about a monk. He's out in a village doing his begging rounds, and he sees a woman so beautiful the text says her face was like a peach blossom. And just like that, he's totally consumed by desire. The sutra uses this powerful image saying his whole being, his body, his speech, his mind was completely on fire with this feeling. So he goes back to his great fish, right? The elder monks, and he tells them what happened. And they give him clear advice, just like in the fable. Hey, that feeling is a trap. Here's a mental exercise you can do to counteract it. But just like those little fish, he can't fight it. The hook is already in too deep. He ignores the advice, takes off his robes, walks away from his vows, and just gives in. The Buddha's conclusion here is just as blunt as the great fish's. By giving in, the monk is caught. He didn't find some new freedom. He just tangled himself right back up in the exact cycle of suffering he'd been trying to escape. So, okay, that's the trap. Pretty grim. So how do we avoid it? Well, the sutra doesn't just leave us with a scary story. It actually gives us a clear path forward. First, we have to really understand what that fisherman's line is. It's not just lust. It's a metaphor for any worldly desire, for money, for fame, for approval, anything that quietly hooks us long before we realize we're even in danger.
And the text offers this super clear 3-step game plan. It's all about recognition, release, and prevention. First, you got to see these attachments for what they are, a trap. Second, if you're already hooked, you have to actively practice letting go. And third, you have to stay sharp, stay vigilant, so new attachments don't even get a chance to take root.
Which, of course, brings this whole ancient story right into our lives today. It's not just some old fable. It's a very personal question for every single one of us. Because in the end, this isn't really a story about fish or even about a monk from long ago. It's a story about awareness. It's asking us to take an honest look at the subtle things we're chasing, those quiet little lines that are following us around, that maybe we think are harmless. So the real question it leaves us with is this: what's your fisherman's line?